Hello, everybody. We are coming to you today from Walt Disney Presents. We're going to do a little walkthrough of the museum portion here. We're not going to go watch the video because last time we tried to do that live, they came and told me to turn off the thing. So we're going to do kind of like a little walkthrough area of the museum. Kind of a short broadcast, maybe a long broadcast. Whatever those girls want to do, they can lead the way.
There's no, you can't follow me. Hey, a little bit.
We also have some new additions in here since the last time we were in here. Nothing too exciting, but this wall over here was a blank wall for quite some time. And now we've got Walt Disney there. I mean, he's always been kind of here. We used to have these other ones here. So the picture of him up there with the train, him with the Disneyland stuff, and then him with the Tiki Room, that's been here. But then they added this picture of him due to the dedication of Fantasyland. So this would have been taken on July 17th, 1955. Over here we have a Walt second grade school desk. Okay, so the story behind this one is, yes, Walt had carved his initials into a desk. No, this is not the actual desk. This is a desk that was found at that school in Marceline, Missouri, but they had him recarve his initials in. So there are, I think they said 3 of these desks now in the world. The original one, which is still at the school, and then another one that's at the Marceline Mall, and then this one that's here in Disney's Hollywood Studios. Walt Bean's drawing. As a teenager, Walt found the time to take some lessons. I went to Saturday classes at Kansas City Art Institute when I was 14, he recalled. When I went to Chicago, I went to the Academy of Fine Arts 3 nights a week while I was going to high school. Then, after I'd been there for a while, I went into technique and I studied cartoon technique. The Prince, the Girl, Romance. When Walt was a newsboy in Kansas City, he attended a screening of the live-action silent motion picture Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Walt would never forget the story of Snow White and thought for years about how he could bring the tale to the screen in a way never before imagined. Obviously, with the very popular Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which was released back in 1937. We've got the Alice comedies. Hello, everyone in the chat room who's just joining us right now. Over here we get the skeleton dance. Though Walt was never a musical expert, he understood the emotional value music could bring to his animation. Following the phenomenal success of Mickey Mouse, Walt created a new series of animated stories told without dialogue, relying totally on images and music. He called them the Silly Symphonies. People are getting really close behind me. I just run these things. There's going to be a few things in here that actually were personally created or owned by Walt Disney. First off, we do have the suitcase over here. If you take a look at the top, it does say W.E. Disney for Walter Elias Disney, Los Angeles. So this was his actual travel trunk from the 1920s. Hey, Stanley.
This is a plan for a super hard dream camp. We call it the multiplane camp. The problem was how to take a painting and make it behave like a real piece of scenery altogether.
And over here we do have merchandise from the 1930s and 1940s, all featuring Mickey Mouse.
part of it moves to or away.
All of these could go for a very pretty penny today. Especially the character plushes down here. These are going to be the stuffed animals that they would have sold back in 1932. Those are the earliest Mickey Mouse plush stuffed animals down there.
This is the plan for a super cartoon camera. We call it the multiplane camera. The problem was how to take a painting and make it
Hey, Stephanie.
a real piece of scenery on the camera.
We're currently at Walt Disney Presents at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, United States, North America, planet Earth.
No, they want it on.
He got Granny's cabin here. So this was actually created by Walt Disney himself. This is for the 1949 film So Dear to My Heart. If you've never seen it before, it's worth checking out. It is not available on Disney Plus last time I looked. Maybe it is now. It's been a while since I looked. But this was one of the first times ever that they used animated and live action characters to kind of tell the story. They do it for here. They would also do it for the movie Song of the South, which is what Splash Mountain was based off of. But Walt Disney loved miniatures, so this was actually created specifically by Walt Disney. Okay, and this is going to be our earliest concept of Disneyland. So what Walt Disney originally wanted to do was he wanted to have it so there was going to be all these different miniature characters that were doing little interactive plays and kind of movements. And what he wanted to do was he wanted to have it so they would put this on the back of a train. The train would travel all around the country. It would make different stops and stations. And then people could come and they could go see this Disney exhibit. So this is the first one. They used Buddy Epson to do the performance. If you look up here, this is the actual video footage to help figure out how to animate the dancing man. And if you go behind here, we can see all the gears. Hey, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Okay, so going from this era, we're going to now go into the park era. Here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy. This is going to be a reproduction of the plaque that is found at Disneyland, not at the Magic Kingdom. The one at Magic Kingdom is circular. The one at the Disneyland Resort is not. So over here we have Sleeping Beauty Castle. If you've ever been to Disneyland Hotel, so the hotel that's found at Disneyland, this is a reproduction of the painting that can be found in the lobby area there. It's a painting that's been around in the lobby since the 1950s when the hotel first opened up. Okay, and then over here we've got the Mickey Mouse Club with a net funicello, or a net full of jello. The Musketeers with Jimmy Dodge. Jimmy Dodge would have been the only adult, well there's two adults, but Jimmy Dodge was the main adult in the show. As we continue going down this way, we're also going to find an actual Oscar, an Academy Award. It's going to be found right here. It says, Academy First Award to the Walt Disney Studios for the special effects of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So altogether, Walt Disney earned 34 Academy Awards throughout his career, with this being one of the legit ones right here. And I know some of you guys are probably thinking about the one that has the big statue and the 7 small statues. That only counts as one of the statues. That's not 8 statues. Why wasn't that the most popular? I think it just all kind of comes down to marketing. She just kind of took off. She had a little bit of everything. She had a little bit of dance, she had a little bit of musical talent. And with that, they just kind of started to showcase her more and more. Plus, she was one of the older girls. She was not the oldest girl, but she was one of the oldest girls in the Musketeers. So they gave her a little bit more responsibility than the younger ones. And then obviously as time would go on, she would start to star in more and more full-length Disney animated films as well, or not animated, live-action films, like The Shaggy Dog. She was in that one. She was the neighbor. And she was in The Monkey's Uncle. A lot of different things. Now let's go to our last display here, which is going to be our cruise line display. And while we're over here at the Wish display, we will point out one mistake that is found in this display, which is actually going to be behind us. Who out there has been on a Disney cruise before? And if you've been on multiple, what one is your favorite ship? My favorite ship I've been on is the Wish. The Country Bears is going to be found over at Magic Kingdom, so we're nowhere near the Country Bears right now. All right, so
We'd
we're
like
here.
to join us for the next showing of One Man's Dream, the story of Walt Disney. It's a 16-minute film, and this is a tribute to his life to the end in the museum at the Walt Disney Theater. The doors open in about 30 seconds. Come join us. Welcome.
All right, so over here we do have one mistake. We've got the 4 original ships here. We've got the Magic, the Fantasy, the Dream, and the Wonder. However, the Dream is not actually the Dream here. It's actually the Wonder. And the way you can tell is if you look at the water slide here, this is the water slide that can only be found on the Wonder and not the Dream. So this is actually mislabeled. All right, but we are going to be wrapping up our broadcast right here. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed. We will have a brand new short up around 6 o'clock on the channel. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you go check that out as well. Thank you everyone for joining us. I hope everyone out there is having a super califragilistic expialidocious type of weekend. And we'll see you guys all a little later. Goodbye.
Oh, the rest of our party's right there.